Hello again, everyone. You're joining us for another episode of Executive Platform's Blueprint podcast series. My name is Jeff Mix. I'm head of content and research. My guests today are members of the Sharp Packaging Services team. We're going to be having a conversation about packaging in the biopharmaceutical space. I think it's going to be a great conversation. Thank you both so much for joining me.
Happy to be here.
I guess I'd like to start by talking about some of the issues and challenges you're hearing from your audience of pharmaceutical executives. When they're engaging with you, what do they want to talk about?
In a lot of cases, it's redundancy. They're packaging in-house or with another packager, and they'd like to find a way to replicate what they've already done, just as a means of, having an alternative.
Yeah. One thing I've been noticing is this idea of having everything under one roof. So DS, API, fill finish, packaging, and labeling, clients want to go to one place and have it all done in one place. I'm part of Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing, which is the sterile division of Sharp Services, and it's been really nice to offer kind of this cohesive relationships to our clients where we can do the fill finish, and then we're experts in that area, and then Sharp can take on the packaging and labeling, and they are the experts in that area. So
it's sort of been my experience in conversations with these people that capacity is a real challenge and that they want to be able to scale up and down fairly quickly. I can see the real advantage of having it all under one roof. Mm-hmm. Another piece that interests me about this industry a lot is there is a bit of a hurry up and wait situation. They wait for permission to go, and then when they've got that permission, they want to go as fast as they can while remaining compliant. Can we talk a little bit about timelines when they're approaching your organization saying, we do need help? What is realistic? What does that look like?
Gosh, it can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, even longer in some cases, to go commercial or launch a commercial product. And again, that depends a lot on the agencies and how quickly they can get the permission to move forward. The most important key to that is the customer readiness, having all of their documents and all of their marketing materials and everything ready to go, so that when they get the approval to move forward, it can be all hands on deck and it's a go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing on the sterile fill finish piece of it, our lead times, it depends program to program, obviously, but our lead times are usually 3 to 4 months to schedule a GMP fill date. That is including we getting the materials in-house and all of those things. But what's nice, again, about this partnership, I keep talking about it, is, you were saying it might be like 6 months or so, but together we can work cohesively. So the minute the client signs on the fill finish side, we can get started on those packaging talks right away. So it's a nice cohesive chain.
I know there are a lot of biopharmaceutical companies who have been in business a long time, and for them this is a routine part of it. There are also a lot of young companies that maybe they're working on their first products. What are some things you would like them to keep in mind when they're imagining the forward process? Okay, we need to figure out our packaging, we need to get things ready to go for when we're allowed to move forward. What are some of the things that you would advise them to keep in mind as they're making their plans?
So Sharp provides a very robust project timeline, and so we pretty much spell out, this is exactly what you need to do and in what timeframes in order to meet your timelines. And so to just really be clear communicators and just keep very open lines of communication and transparency is key to really sticking to those timelines.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you brought up this question because I actually say this all the time to my clients is, these are the 3 things you should be looking for or talking about when you're talking to fill finish CDMOs. So 1, responsiveness. If the salesperson you're not talking to is not responding to you, you're having issues getting a quote from them, it's taking a long time, that is a reflection on the partner itself. And if the salesperson's not getting back to you, how do you think the rest of the team might be? So that's one thing to note. Flexibility as well. So when you're talking to fill finish CDMOs, asking them, hey, talk about your future plans. Hey, I'm in a vial right now. I want to be in a syringe or cartridge down the line. When I get to later phases, can you support that? What is your flexibility in terms of timeline? If I come back and I need something, our clinical trials went really well and I need something right away, can you support that? So talking about flexibility and then quality too. So understanding the quality of the organization, making sure you get an audit scheduled and that you feel comfortable and confident to proceed with that fill finish CDMO.
Absolutely. Well, I think planning ahead is important, but there are also pieces of information that come in fairly close to the finish line, like for instance, the regulatory compliance piece, what has to be on the packaging. Can we talk a little bit about that side of things?
Sure. So at Sharp, we maintain very close relationships with our vendors, and so we are able to support any last-minute changes Oftentimes that does mean expediting. The good news is today lead times are coming down. So COVID lead times were extremely high and they're finally stabilizing. We're back to pre-COVID lead times on components. So we have a better window of opportunity to expedite and meet those late stage needs.
At the beginning of this conversation, you mentioned that there had been two organizations that had been partnered for a while, and now they're actually one. Maybe we can expand upon that a little.
Yeah, sure. So Sharp actually purchased a portion of Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing back in 2020, 25% ownership. And this was really nice for both teams because we got an understanding of how Sharp works, how Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing works, and see how the clients respond to it. Are they enjoying kind of this end-to-end service that we're able to offer them?
And now that the acquisition is 100% and you're all under one roof, what are you doing now?
I mean, what's really nice is that Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing is the sterile division of Sharp Services. So we're able to kind of achieve this nice end-to-end solution for clients. What's also nice is Sharp's quality person has come and audited us, so we can ship client's product to Sharp under quarantine. So it saves the client on timing, which is really something that our clients are able to utilize.
I definitely want to explore a little bit what makes Sharp a leader in the space. I can see the advantage of it all being under one roof, but I'm sure there's more.
Sure. So as Hannah mentioned previously, we do have everything all under one roof. So we can do the sterile fill finish, we have clinical services, we have analytical testing, and then we have commercial packaging and the injectable space, as well as bottling and blistering. And when a client chooses to work with Sharp, they have a dedicated project manager up until the point where their project launches. Once it goes commercial, they have a dedicated account manager that meets with them weekly or more frequently if needed to support their needs and service the account.
Could we also talk about the working relationship? Because I can imagine there are some people who are going to come in and it's project by project, but I also think when you find a packaging company you enjoy, you partner with them for a long time. So how does that work?
Yeah, so these are very long-term relationships. Sharp's been in business since 1952, and we built that business based on the value of our long-term relationships with customers. Some smaller customers might join us for one project, and then they might move on. They might not have any follow-up products. In many cases, smaller clients will get purchased or acquired by a larger client who maybe is already doing business with us, and organically that business just starts to grow. And then of course with those long-term relationships, they're continually bringing us new projects and new business.
I'd also like to explore the fill finish side of this, because I think there are a number of companies out there that do this, but obviously Sharp and your organization came together because you're excellent at what you do. What makes you a leader in the space?
Yeah, I think what's special about Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing is we can provide both clinical and commercial, small-scale commercial filling. All of our filling lines are within isolators, and all of our filling lines are flexible fillers. So we can fill vials, we can fill syringes and cartridges on one filling line. So that makes us a little different. A lot of clients, especially that do preclinical or clinical, they start off in a vial, but they ultimately want to be in a syringe or cartridge come commercial, but they don't want to change fill lines to do that. So now that we have this flexible filling system, we're able to support all of our clients' needs.
When I put myself in the position of imagining myself as a pharmaceutical executive whose product is just about to be commercialized, I can imagine some of the anxiety involved. There's a lot that has gone into this, and all of a sudden I'm relying on service and solution providers to do what I can't. What do you say when someone comes to you and says, I need this last minute change, or I'm trying to hit this deadline? How do they partner with your organization, and how do you relieve that pain point?
Yeah, so I think that's where that kind of late stage customization comes into play. A lot of times customers have very last minute changes, and we're just accustomed to that. It's part of the business, it's a part of the way we work. We've established long-standing relationships with our vendors. We have ongoing support for making those last minute changes and keeping our timeline commitments.
Yeah, I would repeat the same thing. We are committed to getting the client what they would like to see. And kind of going back to what you were saying, like this is their baby, this is something that's going into people and going to help thousands of people. So another thing that we also like to do at Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing is have that client come to our facility and present on their product to our entire company. We provide food, soda, everyone sits down, listens to how this product is, who it's going to help, where it's going to go. And it's like a really nice moment where, visual inspectors, manufacturing associates can come up and talk to the client, ask them questions, and it's a nice moment.
I love that, and I think that really helps the pharmaceutical company share their culture, like why it matters. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I know we've covered a lot of ground in this conversation. If there were one or two key takeaways you want people to think about a little further, what would those be?
I would say choose your packager wisely. You know, like Hannah said earlier, flexibility is so important. Open communication is so important. If you are looking for a secondary or a commercial packager, or if you're looking for somebody to do fill finish, clinical services, if they're not communicative, if they're not open to communication, if they're not there to answer your questions when you have them, they're probably not the right packager for you. So definitely keep your options open and talk to different companies.
Yeah, so I think I always say this to clients are the three most important things that you want to look for in any provider that you're using, whether it's packaging or fill finish, is flexibility, that they're able to support you as your program changes over time, responsiveness, and quality.
For people who've been listening to this and want to learn more, maybe ask a few questions, what is the best way to get in touch?
Visit our website, www.sharpservices.com. There's a general inquiry form on the site that can be filled out. It will go through to our marketing manager, and she will make sure that it gets to the appropriate account executive, such as myself or Hannah.
Yep. Feel free to do it through Sharp, and they'll send it off to Berkshire Sterile Manufacturing. Or if you want to go through our website too, it's berkshiresterilemanufacturing.com, and we have a contact us section.
Well, I encourage everyone who's been listening to this who does want to learn more to visit those websites. And I want to thank you both for your time today. This has been great.
Thank you.
You've been listening to another episode of Executive Platform's Blueprint podcast series. I've been Jeff Mix. Let's do it again soon.